Hello, this is going to be about disappointment. It's a new series that I'm doing where I'm doing definitions of certain words, trying to create a platform where I engage people who are more interested and willing to discuss certain topics and to achieve better understanding on things. And I think problems occur not because of what X is, because of how we define X. And turns out disappointment is a good place to start because there's been some disappointment in actually recording this and getting this out there. Like the intro, if you're watching the video version, it was a disappointment with actually the timing of it and when I was uploading this into the actual computer to post produce. But anyway, we'll discuss that more after the definition of disappointment. So I'll start with providing some dictionary definitions of the term disappointment, and it will include other versions of this word because as you'll see, there's different parts to it. But when I started this off, it was specifically about disappointment, so let's start there. So disappointment, a noun. First definition, the act or an instance of disappointing. The state or emotion of being disappointed. Second definition, one that disappoints. Here are some examples of the word in usage given. She couldn't hide her disappointment, and he's a disappointment to his parents. And now let's go on to disappointed, because I don't like using a word to define itself. So since there were different versions of the usage of the term, let's start with this. Adjective. Number one, defeated in expectation or hope. Example given, apologized to their disappointed fans, an obsolete usage, not adequately equipped. And some examples of it used in a sentence are, we were disappointed that they couldn't go, and disappointed fans slowly left the ballpark. And one last one with disappointing, this is as an adjective as well, failing to meet expectations. Example given, a disappointing meal. Now examples of sentences with disappointing in them. This is disappointing when even the most basic AirPods come in protective hardshell cases and cheaper rival headphones have more reassuring covers. Another example. The writers could just never seem to make Vanessa's relationship work, which is disappointing. Shudder. And one last one, we're going to go with disappoint, which is a verb, and I think this is going to transition into kind of why this came up and how I use it in this particular sense that I thought was worth making this first in this specific type of definition series video. Okay, so disappoint, verb, with object. Fail to fulfill the hopes and expectations of someone. Example, I have no wish to disappoint everyone by postponing the visit. And the second one is prevent hopes or expectations from being realized. Example given, to disappoint the hopes that are now awakened could be very dangerous. Now that transitions well to when this discussion about disappointment came up. I made a meme that included somebody expecting disappointment that's going to come due to politics, and that's something to do with our interests and expectations. I think some people can be disappointed in what happened in the past, coming up to the situation, oh, something else should have happened, or some people are going to be disappointed by putting expectations and expecting this certain person they voted for or chose or selected to give them certain things that are probably not going to happen. So we thought of that, and that's kind of easy to see. Yes, you're going to be disappointed by making this choice in that negative sense that something you wanted to happen doesn't happen, and then you feel disappointed. But I don't think the term itself is inherently good or bad, even though in general it is used in that bad connotation. But the way I was using it as well is I get disappointed in myself as well, even if I'm proven wrong. It's just about what I expect. A simple example is I like to take daily walks, and I like to think about content that I want to create and things to record. I was thinking of recording this. Doing that while thinking about the conversation I had. And this is a series that I had thought of doing before. But specifically when I was doing this, I started saying, oh, I could do it by filming this what's going on with the clouds and equate it to the walk. And then I started doing it too late that it started raining hard enough that I couldn't actually record it in the sense that I wanted to. But I decided, okay, take that back, look at that, and then now what can I do with it? And I still end up just recording the footage, and then now dub this and put this over as a background of the video version of this. But that's the disappointment that I'm talking about in that sense, where in some situations, I was disappointed that I did not decide to go out for the walk earlier. I was disappointed that I did not decide to start this definition series earlier. So when I was having this conversation with my friend, maybe instead of parsing it out on my own, I could have just given them a link to like, yeah, this is what I mean by disappointment. And there could be other definitions, and then they can come and get to know more about how I communicate with things. Maybe they'll actually contribute some things in that sense. So there is that disappointment where you say, there's something I wanted to do that I consider positive that I'm disappointed that I cannot do anymore because of X, Y, Z. Now, there's an inverse kind of disappointed that I use as well, where when I look back into the past and I say, I'm disappointed in myself that I worried too much, that I expected this thing to be dangerous. I'm disappointed in myself that I expected that this person would not be able to help me. I was disappointed in myself that I expected that there was going to be certain limitations to my abilities when if I had just done this prior, if I look back and I say, look, that's actually not as bad. I spent too much time worrying about that. And then now I'm disappointed in myself because I've been proven that that negative thing I expected to happen was not going to happen. That barrier that I thought existed never actually existed. It never really was a barrier. Due to a lack of wisdom or failure to understand the situation or to not have enough trust in myself and expectations and test out all possibilities and be sure that this is what's going to happen. Be sure that that barrier is there. That resulted with me not actually doing the thing. So in the sense of the political disappointment that I was discussing with my friend, is that the supporters of this particular person are going to be disappointed because that person is not going to actually bring the positive things that they were expecting this person to bring. But on the other hand, or other side of the coin, I don't know, there's a lot of duality in the world. And if something is hot, it's not cold. So if something is something, it's also automatically not something else. So there's always that kind of thing where I try to look at things, okay, if this is this, what is it not? What is related to this? So there's another side to look at this. If disappointment is just a term, there are expectations. Somebody expects something good from this person doesn't bring those things, that person is disappointed. But there's other people who will look at this politician and say, this person is going to destroy the world. It's game over. There's nothing more we can do. And then that might put them in a situation where they act in a different way. They get dejected. They get depressed in their own life. They feel they don't have the ability to do things. They start looking at people around them in a negative way when they could have engaged. They start disengaging from people. They start panicking, and fight or flight mechanism kicks in, and they can act out in certain ways, certain unproductive ways. Where when it comes down to it, if you actually had actual expectations that were realistic, and you're like, this person isn't actually some world-ending Ragnarok level demon that's going to end everything, you could actually look at this and say, yes, there is a threat, but what can I personally do to actually change those threats? Or what are the actual things this person might possibly do, the realistic things? And then you can actually do things to actually try to assuage that or meet those in a certain way and be more productive. So in that sense, you can be disappointed that someone doesn't destroy the world because your expectations of them destroying the world were not met. But you'll be disappointed not because they didn't actually destroy the world, but more because of your expectation of them destroying the world changed the way you acted in your own reality tunnel. Okay, if that makes sense, that's kind of what I was trying to get at. I'll try to get better at condensing these definition things and being as specific as possible. Wherever this is being posted, if there's an ability to like, share, or subscribe, please do so. That'd be much appreciated. If you can comment, let me know what you think about this. Let me know how better I can be at these definitions, or if you use some of these terms in different ways, or if you're interested in specific actual definitions of things. I'm trying to create a platform where I can actually engage with people not who just want to talk about certain topics, but are willing to engage in a conversation about certain topics to increase their understanding. Because I think there is a significant difference between that. And with this definition series, I will be creating a different definition specifically to parse that out soon enough. When you listen to this, it might be up already. You can find that wherever this is being posted. You should also find links to a merchandise store and places to donate, and let me know your thoughts, let me know the comments. Just whatever is appreciated. I'd like to grow this up and be part of creating or initiating, continuing this age of understanding that I think we can enter now that we have the information age, and increase the human flourishing that I think most of us support. But to do that, it will take more than just me. It will take me engaging with you out there. And thank you. Till next time. I'm going to add one last thing. There's a bit of an etymology here, the origin of the word. That's what it means. I really enjoy etymology and getting into that. So here it has origin, for disappoint. Late Middle English in the sense of deprive of a position, from Old French, disappointer. Disappointer. I don't know the French accent, but I think with etymology that might actually be worthy enough to do in a separate one, but maybe I'll be including them on the definitions. Let me know in any comment section available. Bye.